Hello and welcome to the news at 10 on NTA News 24. We are reaching you live from Abuja. I am Salwa Khalil Ibrahim. The headlines: to boost revenue remittances from mining sites.
A very elementary estimate, non-scientific estimate that we did in 2023, immediately we resumed, revealed trillions that had been lost by the nation.
President Tinubu approves provisional licenses for 11 private universities in Nigeria. As ECOWAS clocks 50, stakeholders advocate integration that guarantees free trade and security within the region. Let's begin from the presidency, where the Federal Executive Council has approved a award of contract for deployment of satellite services to ensure proper management and remittances of revenue from mining sites across the country. Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, mentioned these as one of the outcomes of the Council's meeting this Monday. State House correspondent Musbaut Nawahab reports.
First meeting of a council in the month and third in the year. The recent vote of confidence passed in President Bola Tinubu by the National Caucus and the Executive Committee of his party won the admiration of cabinet members as they equally commended their principal for his purposeful leadership.
Welcome you once again to
at the briefing led by the Information and National Orientation Minister afterwards were the outcomes. One of the sectors being positioned for drastic change under the administration, solid mineral sector, received attention of a council with focus on how to properly sanitize the sector.
A very elementary estimate, non-scientific estimate that we did in 2023, immediately we resumed, revealed trillions that had been lost by the nation through these unregulated, underreporting, and unlicensed activities in the mining sector.
Now, the government is set to address this with approval for the procurement of an integrated framework to combat sharp practices in the sector.
So at a glance and the click of a button, you can surf to any mine site you want and see the operations that's going on there and see the volume of even the mineral that is extracted, the number of trucks that are going out, and of course the security situation of the environment.
Ministry of Works got Council's approval for 4 memos. Awards of contract for the dualization of Odukpani Ikote-Ekpene, dualization of Ibadan-Ilorin Section 2 at Oyo Ogbomosho, completion of the outstanding 164-kilometer Section 2 on Abuja-Kaduna-Zaria-Kano Road, and construction of a flyover at Abakpa, bordering 82 Division in Enugu State. However, the minister corrects the impression in some quarters that more roads contracts have been awarded in the southern parts of the country than in the north.
The fact remains that it is the memo that comes to effect that is approved. Sometimes, the memo can be in favor of a particular region or a particular zone or so on and so forth. So our, briefing here should not be taken for as if we are bringing projects in an equitably form. So the president is committed to completing all the inherited projects. And in any case, most of the projects we come here to announce, inherited projects, and that the president is continuing.
Education Minister Maruf Tunji Alausa announced Council's approval for 11 new private universities in the country.
The 11 universities have fulfilled the rigorous requirement, a 13-step National University Commission 13-step process to be awarded the provisional licenses.
Women in the country are also to benefit from a memo approved for the Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology for the supply of startup packs for manufacturing of leather goods and footwears.
Women are key players in that sector, so it's exciting for us. It means that we're encouraging their participation, and that is one of our asks, for a portion of that particular intervention to go to women, so that it can encourage them to be able to, produce more. We're encouraging for us to produce what we wear, what we use.
Critical assets of government.
Ministry of Aviation also secured approval for the insurance of critical assets and personnel in all federal airports across the country. Apparently, there are some unfinished businesses on the ground, and so another meeting of the council has been scheduled for Wednesday this week. From the State House, Musbah and Wahab, NT News.
Also, President Tinubu has approved provisional licenses for 11 private universities in Nigeria at Monday's FEC meeting. The following private universities were approved: New City University, Ayetoro, Ogun State, University of Fortune, Ondo State, Erenova University, Mabushi, Minarat University, Oshun Annex, Abubakar Toyin University, Kwara State, Southern Atlantic University, Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, Lines University, Kwara State, Monarch University, Ogun State, Tony Iradia University of Communication, Benin City, Isaac Balami University of Aeronautics and Management, Lagos, Kevin Eze University, Enugu State. President Tinubu is committed to expanding the frontiers of educational opportunities and infrastructure. President Bola Tinubu has urged Muslims to pray for leaders at various levels during the Ramadan fast and even beyond. Represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima at State House Mosque at the opening tafsir for the month of Ramadan, he urged the Nigerians to go beyond fasting and embrace the values of peace, kindness and justice. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
Tuna baya ga ƙarfi na Allah da ikon shi, babu wani mutumin da ke da ƙarfin da Allah ya baka ya ba jami'an.
Ramadan, the 9th month of Islamic calendar, is not merely a ritual of abstaining from food and drink. It is a journey of the soul, a time for reflection, self-purification, and embracing the true essence of Islam. President Bola Tinubu, represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, takes this moment to appreciate religious leaders who stand as the moral and spiritual compass of the nation, appreciating their role in shaping the ethical foundation of the nation.
Our nation stands at a defining moment, and the responsibility of nation building lies in our collective hands. We must strengthen the bonds that unite us and reject the forces that seek to divide us. Above all, let us lift our voices in prayer for our leader, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. May Almighty Allah continue to guide him, bless him, and grant him wisdom, strength, and foresight to pilot the affairs of our great nation.
العالمين إنك حميد مجيد سبحان ربك رب العزة أما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
The President calls on Muslims to embark on these days of fasting and sacrifice with a heart full of goodwill and brotherhood, which is the true essence of the spiritual journey in the month of Ramadan. From the State House, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, says the 10th Senate acknowledges and embraces Nigeria's diversity towards the attainment of shared prosperity for all citizens across the country. Addressing the United Kingdom branch of the Commonwealth Parliament Association in Abuja, Akpabio noted that the policies of government are reflective of the dreams and aspirations of all Nigerians, which is why the National Assembly works tirelessly to ensure that the nation's democracy is a force that transforms lives and is responsive to the needs of citizens. He emphasized the willingness of the legislature to collaborate and deepen engagement with other parliaments to enrich practices.
The Commonwealth Parliamentary Association has, for over a century now, stood as a steadfast sentinel of democracy, holding high the torch of good governance, legislative excellence, and the unshakable belief that a nation's strength lies not in its wealth, nor its armies, but in the integrity of its institutions and the freedom of its people.
Leading the Commonwealth delegation, Kate Afunni Osamo drew attention to better inclusiveness for women in governance and called for the passage of the bills that seek special seats for women in Parliament.
Really want to learn from you and exchange ideas and start a very broader conversation, because if this bill is able to get over the line, we can start looking at other things of how we can work together.
Youth groups in the country have thrown their weight behind the tax reform bills currently being considered by the National Assembly. This was at the National Youth Dialogue on the bills, which held at the House of Representatives. National Assembly correspondent Mitari Ipen reports.
Part of efforts to expand inputs in the consideration of the bills. Representatives of various youth groups applauded key components of the bills as they concern the youth, such as tax exemptions.
At least say, yes, hand over properly. Now there are rules to these things now. Just we are handing over just 1 second word rather than you make people just look. Yes, just hand. I've been in this, that is how they used to do. And I think it's also the fault of the director.
It's not just like 1 minute. We have seen it on air that you go to take over when they are coming.